Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Election Day +4. And from what we've seen so far, it appears that Joe Biden will be the president-elect. So with that, I will say congratulations to Joe Biden and Miss Harris. It was a divisive campaign, but if everything stands as it is, they will be our new leadership come January 20th. And I am okay with that because constitutionally, that's how the system is supposed to work. Hopefully, moving forward, we can bring our country back together. We can restore civility, and we can have discussions about it. Now, with that being said, there still are a lot of things going on. You have allegations of voter fraud, which you have sworn affidavits of what people have seen or claim they have seen. Let me be very clear about that. There is no proof of voter fraud. There are allegations and signed affidavits. There are videos that don't really have an explanation to them. There are questionable things, such as pulling a forklift in front of observers or putting up cardboard so people can't watch through the window. And that is what it is. It should be investigated. And in some cases, like Michigan, where you had a software glitch, which led to 6,000 votes going to the other party and changed the results of the election. Yes, maybe there do need to be hand recounts in some places. Do I think that'll change the results? No, I won't, which is why I'll offer congratulations to the president-elect and the vice president-elect. It was a hard-fought campaign, and they won. So it appears right now. The thing to remember with this is, it's not over. I don't think any states have certified their results yet, and there's still a lot of questions to be answered before that happens. Should they be investigated? Yes. Should there be recounts where there are questions that can only be answered with a recount? Yes, there needs to be. There are certain legal decisions that have to be made, and there are court battles, and it's the right of the incumbent president to ask for those. It's the right of anybody running for office. Now, there are certain thresholds that have to be met before that recount will happen. And yes, they should be met. They shouldn't just be a recount because somebody has a case of sour grapes. If there's evidence, such as a computer glitch in Michigan, then yeah, there probably should be a recount in Michigan. The Georgia Secretary of State has decided since his election, since the results were so close, that there is going to be a recount. And I truly respect and appreciate that. And as I said in my last video, the county in Michigan, when they discovered the discrepancy, they admitted it, they addressed it, they corrected it, and then they moved on. By admitting the mistake, that fixed the whole problem. They didn't try to hide it. There was no fraud involved. It was a computer glitch, which happens. And in fact, depending on which article you read, there was a computer glitch / human error, which is very telling when they're that honest about it. Now, in the state of Michigan alone, that system was used in 47 other counties. So there probably does need to be a recount in Michigan. Now, with that being said, that same software was used in 28 other states, to include Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Georgia, just to name a few. So there needs to be at least some quality control checks in there to make sure that the same thing didn't happen in those states. Do I think it'll overturn the election results? No, I don't. I think Joe Biden is the president-elect, and he's earned that. And by the Constitution, I will support that, just like I did while I was in the military. My life since I swore the initial oath that I'll protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath is still in my heart. That oath is still in my brain. As I said in earlier videos, as a soldier, I served under a Republican, then a Democrat, then another Republican, then another Democrat. It really made no difference to me. I was a soldier. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution. The party of the president did not matter to me. I've seen good things come from presidents of both parties. I've seen bad things come from presidents of both parties. But moving forward, as we move into the lawfare portion of this, the one issue that'll come up that I really would prefer not to see happen, and I'm not taking one side or the other, but if votes in enough states are called into question, they cannot be certified, and the electors cannot make their decision by December 14th, Then it'll go to the House of Representatives. And in the House of Representatives, it'll be based on one person per delegation, not total numbers. And right now, the Republicans would hold the upper hand. I personally would rather hear the voice of the American people speak than delegates to the House of Representatives. Now, with that being said, the election, you have the Democrats declaring that they have a clear mandate based on this election. What I will say is, in some ways, it's almost been a Pyrrhic victory. And if you're not a student of history, especially military history, a lot of people are not familiar with the term Pyrrhic victory. But what it means is you won the battle to lose the war. In this case, yes, Joe Biden will be the president-elect, which is a huge victory. But the Senate will remain in Republican control. The Democrats lost seats in the House, which could lead moderate Democrats to side with Republicans in a lot of things. It could also lead to those moderate Democrats having a larger voice, getting rid of Nancy Pelosi as the Speaker. They also didn't turn a single state legislature, which in the year 2020, most people don't realize, based on the census, there will be redistricting. That is done at state level. So congressional districts will change to a point. And that could lead to issues come 2022 and 2024 with Democrats attempting to maintain a majority in the House to try to take the Senate. And oh, by the way, in 2024, of trying to hold on to the presidency. Now, with where we stand now, based on Joe Biden's history in Congress, there may be a chance to get the houses to work together and work with the White House and accomplish something. That's really all I'm asking for. I don't care who does it. I do not care who is sitting in the Oval Office when they accomplish what they were voted in to do. Like, come up with an annual budget. Like, to support the American people in meaningful ways. Like, at times to accept a bad deal because that's better than no deal. Yes, that is a reverse quote from Nancy Pelosi when she said, no, a not so great deal is worse about COVID relief. Let's actually demand that our politicians start working together. Or come 2022, start voting them out. If they've been there for more than 12 years, then it's time for them to go. If they haven't been able to figure it out, if they haven't accomplished what they wanted to do, then it is time for them to go. Regardless of who the president is, Congress has a job. The president has a job. The results of this election with President-elect Joe Biden, he's facing a Republican Senate, a Democratic House, which majority was narrowed in this election. So what does that mean? I think honestly what it means is you'll see very little over the next 4 years. What I will say is, based on campaign promises and things that were said, I expect comprehensive criminal justice and immigration reform, and I'll hold their feet to the fire. And I will say I demand those based on being a former corrections officer and having an ex-wife that I went through the immigration system with. There needs to be reform in both of those. Do you want to fix the issues? Then let's stop complaining about it and let's actually come up with comprehensive reform. You promised you would do this. A better healthcare system. Now, what I will say with that, faced with a lower majority in the House and a Republican Senate, should President-elect Joe Biden come up with great plans that goes to the House and get voted on and passed the Senate and then they stall in the Senate or get voted down, or the Senate version and the House version when they go to conference doesn't get approved and never makes it to the president's desk, that's not his fault. I don't completely agree with the Affordable Health Care Act, but where I'll give credit where credit's due. President Obama said, I will do this when I get into office. And he accomplished it. Now, attempts to accomplish something, if they put 100% effort into a criminal justice reform bill, that just doesn't pass through Congress, or 100% effort into an immigration reform bill that doesn't pass through the House, then so be it. They made the effort, and I will give them credit for that, because they can't control everything. Should they come up with one of these plans and it actually does make it through the House and the Senate and gets signed into law, and the Supreme Court throws it out, no, that doesn't mean they didn't follow their promises or fulfill their promise. It meant there was a glitch along the way with the way our system's designed. That's why we have an executive, a legislative, and a judiciary body. That is not one person's fault, even if they are the president. Now, with that being said, I'm going to do a video here shortly with my expectations of a Biden-Harris presidency and what I will hold their feet to the fire over. And if it changes, I'll redo it with a Trump-Pence expectations and what I expect to hold them to their feet to the fire over. With that being said, everybody have a good evening. This will probably get posted today. But please like, subscribe, share with your friends if you like what I'm saying. If you don't like what I'm saying, go ahead and hit dislike and tell me in the comments what you don't agree with. We can have a discussion about it. We can try to figure it out. You may change my mind. But then again, I may change yours. Now, what I will say with that, this is a new channel, so subscriptions, likes, and shares are the biggest thing you can do for me. My Patreon is listed in the description if you want to help me out, because I'm starting to see the direction I want to go with background and editing for my videos. But I do plan to keep it up. So with that, everybody have a good day. Be safe, take care of your families, and remember to question your government. Question yourself, where you are in your life and where you want to be, because you're the only one that can decide that. All right, everybody have a good evening.